In this lesson, I'm going to go over finding the area of a sector. Now, quick reminder here at the very top of the notes is for the area of a circle is pi times the radius squared. For the area of a sector, you'll see that it is the ratio of the area of a sector of a circle to the area of the whole circle is equal to the ratio of the measure of the intercepted arc to 360 degrees. Now, that's a lot of words there. The way my brain thinks of this is that if you were to shade the whole thing yellow, right, that is the area of the circle. If we want just a part of that, right, this sector, then what I need to do is I need to find the ratio of that intercepted arc AB out of the 360 degrees and take that fraction and multiply it by the area. So that's essentially what we're going to do when we use this formula to solve some questions. All right, so let's do some together. Starting first with finding area. So if area equals pi times the radius squared, so I'm going to plug in here where radius is 12 centimeters. So leaving it in terms of pi first, I get 144 pi, what is the units here, centimeters squared. Now, if they want me to approximate it, I'll go into the nearest tenth. I need to multiply that 144 times that pi, which is going to be 452.4. 452.4 square centimeters. Okay, now let's do the new stuff here, finding the area of the shaded sector. And it does want me to leave my answer in terms of pi, so no approximation needed here. Now, if they tell me this angle, DAB, is 45 degrees, you can see that the measure of arc BD is 45 degrees, right? So that is the idea of the central angle. So that is 45 degrees. So the area of the sector is equal to the measure of that arc DB over 360 degrees, so the ratio, times pi times the radius squared, so times the area. So the area of the sector equals 45 degrees over 360 degrees times pi times that 12 squared. So doing some multiplication, all right, I have, this is going to be what is that? I believe that's 8. Let's see. That's 320, 40, yep, 1/8 times 144 pi. And I believe 144 divided by 8 is going to be 18. So this is 18 pi square centimeters. That is the area of that sector. Okay? All right. You see number 3 is finished. It's the same idea as number 2 that we just did, just no leaving in terms of pi. This one, I rounded to the nearest hundredth. So let's do some more practice. Number 4, it gives us the radius. Segment BC here is 16 feet. It wants us to find the area of the shaded sector. So as long as I know this arc length, which I do, is 51 degrees, I can find it using my formula. So the area of the sector is equal to the measure of arc AC out of 360 times pi times the radius squared. So that is going to be, plugging in my information, 51 degrees out of 360 times pi times 16 squared. So going to my calculator, I'll be able to figure out an approximation for this area of the sector. So 51 over 360, 51 over 360, and then times, we have pi times, I believe it was 16, I'll confirm, squared. Pi times 16 squared, yes. So that is going to be approximately, to the nearest hundredth, 113.94. 113.94 feet squared. Okay? Let's do number 5. Number 5 is a little bit different. This time they're giving us this angle GHI, so they're telling us that this arc is also going to be 126 degrees. But we need to figure out, to find this area of the shaded sector, we need to find this area of this major arc. Excuse me, not area. We need to find the measure of this major arc. So that measure of my major arc is going to be 360 minus 126, which is going to be 234 degrees, I believe. Yes. So that right there is going to be 234, which will allow us to use our formula to figure out what the area of that shaded sector is. So the area of the sector is equal to the measure of the major arc out of 360 times pi times the radius squared. Okay, so we said 234 out of 360 times pi times the radius is 13 yards. Oops, there we go, squared. So plugging in 234 over 360, come on now, there we go. 234 over 360 times pi times, I believe it's 13, I'll confirm, pi times 13 squared, yes, to the nearest hundredth, 345.10. So the area, I'll forget it, 345.10, I'll get the units in a second. And that is square yards. Okay, all right, just a couple more. I think just 2 more, yes. So number 6, it says find the area of the shaded region. All right, this is the first time we've got 2 kind of separate areas here. I'm gonna show you the way my brain does it, and there's a couple options here, but I'm gonna find this arc length first, which is 46 degrees. So I'm actually gonna write a formula that's just gonna find this one shaded area. But because I have a second one right here, I'm gonna go ahead and multiply it by 2 at the end. Okay, so the area of the shaded sector is, and watch how I do this. So the measure of arc GE out of 360 times pi r squared. But I told you at the end, I want to multiply it all by 2 because I need double that area. Okay? So now when I plug in my info sector, there we go, I'm going to have that 46 degrees out of 360 times pi times, and the radius is 7 centimeters. All right, I am going to round this to the nearest tenth. So I'm going to type in 46 over 360. But first, I'm going to put a parentheses in front. You'll see why in a second. So 46 over 360, and then times pi times, I think it was 7 squared. Let's confirm that it was pi times 7 squared. It is. And then I'm going to put that times 2 at the very front. So I'm going to close this, and then I'm going to scroll all the way to the front. And I'm going to put, maybe not, there we go, times 2. So I get 39 point, I think it's to the nearest 100, 39.34. Let's see. Oh, it's the 10th. Try again. 39.3. All right, so the approximation is 39.3 square centimeters, right? And so again, it's however your brain wants to do it. I mean, technically you could just double that arc length to get the 92 degrees and you get the same answer. But my brain wants to find one of them first and then just double it after. Your call. Okay, last one. Find the area of the shaded sector round to the nearest hundredth. So I do know the central angle EFG, which means I also know this arc length EG, which is 115 degrees. So the area of this shaded sector is equal to the measure of that arc EG out of 360 times pi times the radius squared. So plugging in my information, my arc length is 115 times pi times EF, that's the radius of 28 squared. So I am going to round this to the nearest hundredth. So typing 115 over 360 and then times pi times, I already forgot the radius, sorry, 28 squared, there we go, 28 squared. To the nearest hundredth gives me 786.79, 786.79 meters squared. All right, guys, that's it. All right, that's everything for this lesson. You notice I focused a ton on the area of the sector, so please, please, please focus on that new information about the area of that shaded sector, and then come see us if you have any questions.